That's our response to Mr. Smith and how we would do it.
Comments?
Do we need to have that document written up, or would that even be feasible?
Well, you will actually have that when we do the work authorization. We got to bid, those bid tabs will come back to you, and you'll actually see that in there.
I hope, you know, we could work with Mr. Smith within whatever parameters that we're forced to work within, so that he could maximize, you know, what he's invested.
Jimmy, you're about to make a comment.
I was just gonna ask you, based on the sketch that's in Mr. Smith's package, you have an easement over his property that you have rights to eliminate obstructions, but that easement does not cover you all the way out to your height zoning ordinance limit. It falls somewhere kind of in the middle. It's based on, from the sketch in the pack, it was 250 feet off of the runway center line and out. But it does allow you to cut all the way to 34-1. We're only looking to do the 20-1 in this green area. That would be our phase one approach. So I guess what I'm saying, when you entertain discussions with Mr. Smith, you need to understand that you really have rights only to cut on a certain portion of his property right now under that easement. So you're gonna have to expand that easement or coordinate how you're gonna operate to get out to the limits of the purple area. Sorry.
You know what's different.
Were there any grant money eligible for easements?
All of this, not for the great easements, for the purchase of them, I think there is, yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
New business, economic development opportunities.
Call Matt Blackwell, our Economic Development Director. Matt has been working with me along with a number of other people and has a proposal that we've developed for you that we hope you all will consider and direct us to move forward on.
Thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. County Manager and I have talked over the past few months of opportunities for economic development throughout the county and long-range planning for those economic development opportunities. And one of the discussions that we continue to center around is product development. And what I mean by product development is developing feasible buildings and sites for future economic development growth in the county. As you look around the southeast U.S., a lot of the local governments, a lot of the airport authorities have began developing business parks adjacent to their airports and their communities. A lot of these communities are larger than ours, but that does not preclude us from a smaller version of such type development immediately adjacent to our airport. Through these conversations, we've looked at some of the available property immediately adjacent to the airport, west of the runway, east of Airport Road. That sits well below the runway. It would not have direct access back to the runway, but would provide opportunities for economic development immediately adjacent to the airport should a company desire accessibility to the airport to either move product or move their personnel quickly. In discussing this with the county manager, we also met with W.K. Dixon, the engineer for the airport, and have received a proposal. This proposal would develop two conceptual development plan alternates for the property, along with budget level estimates for the strip of land that we've identified, again, west of the runway, east of Airport Road, and provide some development alternatives for the property. What we envision are going to be smaller buildings, probably anywhere between 15 and 35 to 40,000 square foot, that would provide employment opportunities for smaller businesses that would engage in operations of 5 to probably 15 employees at those facilities. However, would not preclude opportunities for larger manufacturing out there. There would be some challenges with wastewater that we would have to deal with at that point. As I mentioned, we've received the proposal from W.K. Dixon in the amount of $9,300 to perform this work. This would provide us two conceptual layout plans along with the budget estimates for the work associated with the development of that property. I would be happy to answer any questions, elaborate further at the manager's direction.
Did you check with W.K. Dixon on the opportunity to use grant money for this?
Absolutely did, and I will start through this, and I may have to leave this over to Jimmy as well. There's an opportunity, as the proposal is written today, that it would not fall within any of the realms of being used or funded through airport grants. However, there is a fiscal year 13 grant that has not yet been encumbered, as well as a fiscal year 14 grant that's not yet been appropriated for the airport. We could delay this work and incorporate it into the airport layout plan, which is proposed to be to utilize some of this funding to look at the overall. It provides a 20-year conceptual plan for development for the airport that would allow us to incorporate our economic development plans into that airport layout plan and utilize those grant funding opportunities at that time. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, he's exactly correct. You don't,
Yes. Very good.
I was just gonna say, you don't have a current grant in place now with a description that would allow this conceptual work to take place, and that type planning usually happens under the airport layout plan. And if you were to utilize your airport layout plan grant monies, you would obviously be reimbursed at 90 cents on the dollar. So the $9,300 estimated not to exceed fee, you'd be $930 if it was under grant. If not, if you move ahead before that, you would be fronting that money, but you can ask for reimbursement once you put a grant in place. So it's not like it's not eligible for reimbursement, but we currently don't have a grant now to tag those costs to.
Let's say you went with that conceptual design. Will grant funding fund the construction if you decide to do that?
Possibly not. That's a little
Okay.
tricky when you're looking at land side versus air side.
Okay, then my question is, you know, if you're looking then at county money and making the wisest decision, are we more apt to attract business putting something on 74 corridor and spending our money there, or is it a better investment to spend that money at the airport?
We're certainly looking at developing multiple areas of product development for economic development in the county. Certainly, we focus a lot of our efforts along the 74 corridor, along the 221 corridor. This gives us a different type of product. The more product diversity that we can have increases our opportunities, certainly for recruitment of various type of industries to the county.
The other thing I'd say is, what are we looking to expend? At the present time, we're looking to just try and lay down that ground, but you've already got a state highway, public water, fiber optics, and you have access to property for a mass drain field for, employee domestic based. Although that is not constructed, but you already have the property for it at the end of the runway. And so the actual amount of site development work to get it ready is minimal. And we're not looking at the present time to do any of that. And we're not sure if the county will ever be in a position because, as Matt said, we don't know whether somebody would be interested in looking at a 10,000 square foot building or, wow, great, a 50, 60,000 square foot building. But what we can do with the layouts is actually put that down in a manner that he can promote that and show how buildings could be situated on that property so that people could actually develop and site selection consultants could actually see it on the ground without actually having put anything on the ground.
Mr. Chairman, if I could clarify what I said about the grant too, I was speaking strictly to the AIP grants. Now, there are other grants out there for economic development,
Right.
Golden Leaf, and several other things that could facilitate that.
Right now, what we're seeking is we would like to either move forward now and make a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners for a budget amendment to go ahead and do this work and then seek reimbursement from a grant later, or we would put this on the back burner until the grant funding, we were eligible directly for the grant funding. We just know that we've been extremely fortunate in recent months due to the hard work of an awful lot of people, including the Economic Development Department, and we need to begin to develop product out there to show people who are interested in coming to Rutherford County. And we think this is a low-cost, easy, very positive option that's available to the county. and we'd like to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and it's a, situation, there's a lot of economic activity beginning, and we don't want to make a decision that's gonna limit our possibilities. So basically, you're saying $930 would be the,
That would be your 10% max if it's under grant, yes, sir.
Right.
And you did receive notification here based on the document I printed out from the state today where your non-primary entitlement monies for fiscal year 13, it says here in the comments that the mailed award letter was December 20, 2013 to the sponsor. So apparently, your money is available to you out of that grant currently for fiscal year 13, and fiscal year 14 would be sometime late summer, early fall. So you do
Other
have money
questions?
potentially in place.
I feel like, jobs are our top priority, and we need to give Matt as many options as he can have to bring them in.
yeah, I agree with Matt. I mean, we need to, cast as big a web as we can when we're promoting the county. And, this will give us another, gun to put in our arsenal to use. So, this property that's already flat, it's a good looking piece of property. It won't take much work to develop it, so I think we need to.
I certainly wouldn't see the development as your traditional industrial, dense industrial development at the site, but it would give us alternatives for some of your more advanced technology opportunities that are going to be low employees, high wage. They need access to the airport to move small products, to move the employees around. I just think it gives us some diversity that we haven't had in the past through utilizing county-owned property that right now is left unused.
Is this property owned by the county or the airport authority?
Airport authority, sir.
So, in other words, if the airport authority agrees to this plan, at some point in time, it would need to be transferred to the county or not?
Not necessarily, sir. We'd have to work out an agreement between the county and the airport authority. And I think that's where the attorneys come in, which is interesting. This is Richard Williams just walked in. But that's how that'd be worked out, because this land was purchased with federal airport money, and whatever those restrictions will also flow through. So it has to be some sort of aviation generally related. Now, if it's a business that has a need for the airport, that makes it aviation related. So they've taken a very broad view of that, fortunately, for economic development purposes.
My main concern is, as the authority owning the property, doing EDC packages on it, first of all, the money's tied to the restrictions placed on it at the time it was received. Even the purchase of the property itself, the money's tied to that.
That's right.
I don't want to get entangled in a web where we'd have to pay back money, or the airport authority doesn't need to be controlling EDC.
Well, I understand what you're saying. This is, we feel comfortable that you all can go forward with this type of project as the airport authority recommending it. The Board of Commissioners can fund it. Yes, we have to we have to be looking at it from both perspectives, and you'll be wearing both hats as you go through it. We'll just have to make sure that both boards are taking appropriate action. So,
Any action that's needed?
not at the present time. We have a sense of the board will be making a budget amendment recommendation to the Board of Commissioners at your April meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. Thanks, Matt. Change fuel policy?
Mr. Chairman, this was going to come up in February. The request came from some of our really heaviest users that are similar to, since we have if you'll recall, we do a current cost plus, and our current cost is a 20-cent, basically overhead charge. And so when we did the original proposal, it was just the two bullets. And we have some people who are very, very heavy purchasers of volume of fuel. And this would, when it says a current cost plus a nickel, that would be our 20 cents plus a nickel. So we would still get our overhead charge in that. This would be on top of that. We're recommending approval of these higher level with lower cost rates. And other than that, it's the only change to the existing policy.
Pleasure, board.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Landscaping proposal.
Mr. Chairman, we received a landscaping proposal from Mr. Hendricks to do some of the work along the airport road. I would recommend that the board take no action on this matter, and that we'll take a look at this in conjunction with the mowing contract next year. If we need to have it done, I'll work with the operations manager, and we'll get quotes for it at that time. Would recommend that you not take action on it.
Comments, discussion?